This is Taskoril, my task-locked Iron Man. My mission is to become a collection log master completing randomly assigned tasks from the collection log master plugin, but with a twist. Rather than completing tasks as efficiently as possible using a defined set of rules, I have to use my existing game knowledge to complete my assigned tasks. No wiki, no outside help. My only rescue is a built-in failsafe to prevent me from killing thousands of the same single wrong monster to get a drop that they don't even drop. The 250 kill count rule. Once I have killed a monster 250 times, I unlock the ability to view the list of items it drops. Not the rarity, not the quantity, but just the knowledge that it does, or more often than not, does not, actually drop the item that I'm seeking. If it doesn't, I have to move on to another monster that I think may drop the item, repeating the 250 kills until eventually I find the right monster and then get the drop. Our goals are simple: to complete as many tasks as possible, and to, maybe, learn something along the way. This is Task Locked and Lost. Welcome back to episode 2 of Task Locked and Lost. A bit of housekeeping before we get started. As the updated intro just explained, we're a task locked account, but it may be more accurate to think of us as an Iron Man who's task obsessed and focused rather than as a strict Taskman account. While it is my goal to complete tasks as efficiently as I know how, my fundamental lack of game knowledge will, at times, lead us down inefficient or incorrect paths, leading to unnecessary skill leveling or quest completions, or other things like that. To highlight this important distinction, I'll now refer to myself as a task-locked Iron Man rather than as a Taskman going forward. Beginning in this episode, I will be using the helper plugins for quests, clues, skilling, or other things that may have plugins related to them that don't give spoilers. There are plenty of series out there specifically for these tasks in plugin-less playthroughs, but I don't want to unduly muddle what this account is about and take the focus away from completing tasks. I am still open to suggestions and input on this decision if you have strong feelings about it, but for now, it's going to keep things moving and flowing during these early levels a lot more smoothly with them turned on. It's always something we can change in the future if necessary. Also worth noting is that the 100 kill requirement for the item drop table has now been increased to 250. We have not yet used this mechanic, but in thinking about it, 100 just seemed far too low. Let me know if you think further adjustments are needed on that. In episode 1, we finished our very first task on the account, a 12-hour long completion of the Karen and Kebos Easy Diary, a task that took us all the way from a total level of 32 straight off of Tutorial Island to a total level of 236, with skill gains across melee combat, prayer, construction, herblore, thieving, mining, smithing, fishing, and cooking, and that one sneaky agility level from the Shazian agility course for good measure. By the end of today's episode, we'll be rapidly approaching a total level of 500, so there's a lot to look forward to. As a quick side note before we get started, I will point out that the sailing skill technical test comes out midway through this episode's filming. So during the episode, you will see the lock sailing skill and some items related to sailing appear in the background. Sailing is not out as of the filming of this episode, however, so there's no sailing involved. As for how we'll address sailing as it becomes available, it'll be pretty much the same as everything else. Based on what we can currently see in game, there's a decent number of items being added to the collection log, and in turn, we'll likely see those get added to the collection log master plugin at some point. So we'll be able to roll them once they become available, and we reach the right tier for them. We don't have a specific timeline for this, but just know that once it's available, it will be on our roll table. Sailing will be all new content to everyone, obviously, but we're going to treat it the same as everything else, where there's no outside help and no wiki and everything else. So I'll definitely be stumbling around, probably a little more than others, but it'll still be fun. It definitely will get interesting, though. Now, I will say the future intros will be shorter, but I did want to give good information on the changes since the first episode. But now, without further ado, let's get on to episode 2, which starts out, to nobody's surprise at all, I'm sure, with me being wrong. All right, so small problem. You need level 35 fishing in order. I thought you only needed level 20 fishing, but you need 35 fishing in order to fight Temporos. So we're going to have to go get 15 more fishing levels. All right, let's start with these feathers and see how far that gets us. Level 21 fishing. Level 22 fishing. Level 23 fishing.
All right, we're just shy of 24 fishing, but I did run out of feathers. So what we're gonna do, because we did unlock big net fishing for cod, I believe it is, at 22 or 23. Yeah, 23 we unlocked cod. So we're gonna go get a big fishing net, and we're gonna catch cod for the rest of our levels. So I'm in Port Sarum, and apparently, I didn't realize this. Maybe it's because big fishing is only for members, but there's no big fishing net.
So I came over to the Witch Haven fishing shop, which is in Ardoyan, and I figured it would sell it if it was just a members item issue, since this is a members only area. But looks like it's a carbon copy of the Port Sarum fishing shop rather than a members one, which is interesting. Hopefully, the one in Catherby has it though.
All right, thankfully he does sell the big fishing net.
And there we go. Let's get back to fishing. You get to 35. Fishing level 24. 25 fishing.
There's 26 fishing. There's 27 fishing.
Fishing level 28. 29 fishing.
There's level 30 fishing. Now, the extra advantage to level 30 is that we can actually go in here and gain 2,500 fishing experience, which should get us straight to 31. There's 32 fishing. There's level 33 fishing. 34 fishing. And there's level 35 fishing, which means we can now fight Temperos. Let's run over there. We're going to do it on the mass world and hopefully get the spirit flakes pretty quick and be able to move on to our next task. All right, our very first Temperos on the account. We're going to run over here. We're going to grab, where are the buckets? I guess the buckets are down there. Oh, right here. Take a bucket, use the water pump, fill our bucket. All right, let's get down there and get fishing. All right, there we go. All right, let's take a net from this guy. We've got 4 permits, so let's net. Some mackerel, some oak planks, herring, and salmon. No spirit flakes off the first one, so we'll go again. All right, we got 4 more from that one. Let's see what we get here. We got some pike. Oh, some steel nails. Those could be helpful. More pike. Still no spirit flakes. Trying again. We got salmon, seaweed.
Collection log slot.
There's your spirit
Completed.
flakes. All right. Task completed. We get to do another task roll. Let's go to the collection log. Take a look at Temperos, and there you go. We got spirit flakes. We can hit complete task. We're now 1% easy completed. We can now generate a new task. Ooh, 5 uniques from easy clues. That means we get to do some clue scrolls. We already have 1 in the bank, so that means we're gonna get that one done and hopefully get some good loot. We can definitely get some exciting items. I don't know the exact items because I can't look it up, but I know one of the big things people look out for, magic staves, things like that. Definitely some good early gear that we can get from easy clues. It's not going to be, the best stuff, but I'm sure there's black armor that we can get on there, and we do have 20 defense, which means we can wear up to mithril. So let's go ahead and pull our first easy clue out and then see where we go from there. All right, let's talk to the apothecary, and we get another clue. Gold necklace, gold ring, and a bronze spear.
It's about this time that it actually dawns on me that easy clues are not going to be quite as free as I initially thought they would be. Rather than showing you each step of every clue, I'll do level up montages like this one, and voice over what the problematic clue was and what I did to address it. For this clue, I need a gold necklace and a gold ring, requiring 40 smithing or 33 magic and 6 crafting to make. I also need a bronze spear. Now, I debated for ages on whether I should train magic to 33 to telegraph the gold bar from the Varrock West Bank basement or smithing to 40 to smith the gold bars myself. In the end, because I don't have a good money source yet for runes to train magic, and because I'm ultimately going to need a lot more random armor pieces and weapons for clues that I don't necessarily know where to get easily, I ended up going for smithing. During this grind, I first mine iron and then silver in the Varrock West mine, and then completely forget that the Mother Lode mine exists. So instead, start mining coal literally steps away from the Mother Lode mine entrance while taking hits from scorpions in the Dwarven mine. Once I get into the Mother Lode mine, I eventually realize how decent the smithing experience is at lower levels just from repairing the struts. So ultimately, I just end up world hopping and doing strut repairs for a few hours to get the rest of the smithing levels. Ultimately, we hit 49 mining to go with our required 40 smithing. I then gather some wool and kill some cows and tan their hides to make leather items to get to level 6 crafting to be able to craft the ring and necklace. Finally, I go over and kill goblins outside of Lumbridge for a bronze spear, which doesn't take very long at all. I then make my way over to Remington to finally complete my first easy clue scroll. Hey, we finally got our first easy clue completion on the account. We've got our very first casket. Now let's waste no time and get this casket open and get rewarded for all those long hours of leveling up in order to be able to complete this clue.
Oh, I don't know what I expected.
Guess it's time to go pickpocket some ham members. Second treasure trail on the account was an easy 3-stepper. No drama, no levels needed. So let's get it opened up and see what we get. A studded leather body is better than what we had before, so that's our best in slot currently for ranged, but still no uniques. That's 26 thieving and a clue scroll on the same pickpocket. Quick and easy 2-stepper. Let's open it up. Hey, there's our first easy unique. A black helm H4. Only 4 to go. Another casket for another studded leather body. We did get black plate legs, which are our best in slot for now. And a master clue scroll, which we're definitely not going to be able to do. So we'll be dropping that. Level 27 thieving. Had to spend some bronze plate legs and a steel med helm for this, but should be a guaranteed casket. And let's open it up and see what we get. A black full helm and a staff of air with some runes. No uniques. 28 thieving. This clue step posed a minor inconvenience to us just because it needed a lot of items you could buy, but we didn't have a lot of money. So we ended up smelting and selling some of the gold bars we got during our smithing grind in order to fund our ability to buy the mithril pickaxe and the black plate body to complete this task. All right, should be a guaranteed casket, and let's see if it was worth it selling all that gold. Ooh, definitely not. On to the next. Thieving level 29. For one of the steps for clue casket number 7, we need a blue robe top and a silver tiara. The tiara requires level 23 crafting to make, but we currently only have level 6 crafting. The blue robe top comes from the Tree Gnome Stronghold. I definitely did not check the fancy dress shop in Varrock first, thinking it may come from there, and I definitely did not try killing a wizard for their wizard robe top either. And since I've deleted that footage, you can't prove anything. Now, to address our crafting level deficiency, since I still don't have a good money-making method, I will be killing cows for their hides again. Because of this, the level montage starts with a good number of melee combat levels. From there, we go through the normal process of tanning the hides and crafting them into the highest level leather item we can. This gets us to level 23 crafting pretty quickly, and we can then make our tiara. From there, we teleport to the fishing trawler and run up to the Tree Gnome Stronghold to buy our blue robe top in order to complete this step. Casket number 7, let's see what we get. A bunch of duplicates. On to the next. Thieving level 30. Here comes easy casket number 8. And what do we get? A black plate body that we had to buy for a previous step, another air staff, another bow, and some fire lighters that are part of the shared unique table, not the easy table, so they don't count. Still at 1. Thieving level 31 on the same pickpocket as another clue scroll. For the final step on easy treasure trail number 9, I needed a blue robe top, turquoise robe bottoms, and an oak short bow. This was a relatively quick one. I already had the blue robe top, but had to go to the tree gnome stronghold to buy turquoise robe bottoms. For the oak shortbow, I had to get from level 1 to level 5 ranged. I went back to the cows to get future crafting supplies to get to 4 ranged levels. I managed to level up the same tick as being hit for ranged levels 3, 4, and 5, so enjoy the totally non-doctored level ups for those levels. I then went back and got the oak shortbow from Varrock to complete the step. In casket number 9 we get, oh, the Master Scroll Book. And, oh, it's a black plate body trimmed, so that'll be unique number 2. The Master Scroll Book is a shared unique, so it doesn't count, but the trimmed plate body is unique number 2 of 5. Thieving level 32. Lucky casket number 10 for Ancient Page 2. Oh, and 11,000 coins. That's a lot more money than we've had, so I'll take that. For step 2 of Easy Treasure Trail number 11, we need iron plate legs, an oak longbow, and an emerald amulet. The iron plate legs and oak longbow are non-issues, but the emerald amulet requires level 31 crafting to make. While the cows have been good to me, giving me plenty of combat levels while getting their hides, I realized that there may be something that's more useful to the account in the long run. Bowstrings. While you don't get any experience other than crafting by getting these now instead of cow hides, in the long run we'll eventually run into a fletching grind, and making bowstrings now will help us tremendously in the future with that grind. Plus, string bows sell for more, and I'm still struggling to come up with a reliable money-making method, so it's only going to help us down the line. I picked flax in Land's End, which to my knowledge is the closest patch of flax to a deposit box, though thinking back on it, I'm not actually sure if it's closer to the deposit box than the location in Tree Gnome Stronghold, but either way, it's within a few tiles of the same distance, so it's not really going to make that much of a difference. We then go between Lumbridge Castle's rooftop bank and the spinning wheel on the second floor, or I guess first floor if you're British, to spin the flax into bowstrings for the needed crafting levels. Finally, we craft our emerald amulet with supplies we already had in the bank and complete the step. Casket number 11 for duplicates. Lots of duplicates. For the final step on Easy Treasure Trail number 12, we need a black axe, a quoth, yes, apparently that's how you say that, not coif, and a ruby ring. We've gotten several black axes from previous easy clues, so that's not an issue, but the ruby ring and cloth require 34 and 38 crafting respectively. We will also need level 20 range in order to equip the cloth once we make it. So after all that talk about moving on from cows to bowstrings, we're back to the tried and true. Killing cows to gain range levels and gather crafting supplies at the same time. 2 birds, 1 stone, as they say. We use the cows to get to level 20 range to equip the cloth, tanning and crafting the hides we get, which gets us all the way to 34 crafting. We then go back to gathering and spinning flax into bowstrings for the remaining 4 crafting levels we need. Since I'm not using calculators to figure out how much flax we need, I tend to end up with too many because I always err on the side of caution so I don't have to make extra trips. But that'll just speed things up down the line when we need more crafting levels. Once we hit 38 crafting, we craft our ruby ring and cloth and complete the step. And our reward for all that crafting and range training is the worst casket we've gotten so far. We're just going to pretend that didn't happen and move on. And it only took us about 10 minutes to get and complete the next clue. So for casket number 13, we get more duplicate garbage. A little under half an hour later for a 4-step clue casket number 14, and we get our first teleports on the account, but they're a shared unique, so they don't count. On to the next. Our first step for Easy Clue 15 requires studded leather chaps, an iron kite shield, and a steel longsword. The iron kite shield and steel longsword aren't a problem, but the studded leather chaps definitely are. I think they're sold in the Ranging Guild, but we can't get in there. They require 44 crafting to make on your own, and the only mob that I know of that I'm relatively sure drops them, and I know it at least used to, are the archers outside of the Burthorpe Castle. I end up killing 32 of them, unfortunately using up a lot of our food supplies in the process. It's an incredibly slow process with our melee gear and combat stats, but it does get us several more levels in melee combat and in cooking. And overall, I do end up getting 2 pairs of green D-hide chaps, but unfortunately not the lower level studded leather chaps that we need for this clue step. I also spent close to half an hour organizing my bank, including putting herbs in level order, purely so that I can do my banking faster in the future, and definitely not because I was procrastinating killing more Burthorpe archers to try and get the studded leather chaps. Unfortunately, I never got the lower level studded leather chaps as a drop. Eventually, because I'm running out of food, I change gears and end up going back to picking thousands of flax and turning it into bowstrings in order to get crafting level 44 and then make my own in order to complete the step. 5 to 7 hours later, are we going to be rewarded for our effort? I don't want to talk about it. Clue number 16 did repeat the studded leather chaps step, so thankfully we have those ready to go from now on. Let's see if we finally get another unique. Ooh, a black pickaxe. Now, the black pickaxe does appear on both the easy and the beginner clue collection log pages, but I already know that it counts as an easy item, so we are finally up to 3 out of 5. Clue number 17 is a very important one for a couple of reasons. First, it includes the step requiring a blue skirt, which does actually come from the fancy dress shop in Varrock, unlike the blue robe top.
Vindication!
Second, this step is also a Varlamore step, requiring us to complete Children of the Sun, unlocking Varlamore for the account, and importantly, the Eclipse Red Wine Moneymaker. This is certainly going to save us hours of time doing inefficient moneymakers down the line, so I'm really excited to actually get this step. Side note, I got a Gravedigger random event right before completing the quest, and I must say that I'm looking absolutely amazing in this cutscene. Quest completed. Let's go over to Varlamore and complete this step. Casket number 17 for some air runes and some coins. Honestly, we got Varlamore unlocked, so even with this reward, it's a win. Casket number 18 gives us, oh, leather chaps gold. And a pair of studded chaps. Those would have been useful before we had to get the levels to get them, but hey, there's unique 4 of 5. Casket 19 for a staff of air and some law runes. I somehow don't have the footage for clues 20 or 21, but both of them were uneventful. Here are screenshots for the rewards from them. Casket 20 gave us a duplicate black pickaxe and some coins, and Casket 21 gave us a black dagger and a black battle axe. Easy Casket 22 gives us some runes and purple sweets, which are a new shared unique, but not helpful for our current task. Nothing special in Casket 23 either, a couple black plate bodies, another amulet of magic, and a bow. 24 is nearly identical with only one black plate body, law runes instead of the bow, and still an amulet of magic. Caskets 25, 26, and 27 are more of the same with black armor and weapon pieces, bows, coins, fish, and runes. Nothing unique, not even duplicate unique. Casket 28, on the other hand, gives us something special. A black heraldic kite shield, a peaceful blessing, and a duplicate black pickaxe. That's 3 uniques in a single casket, which we have not seen on this account. Now, only the black heraldic shield counts towards easy clues for us, since we already had the pickaxe, and the peaceful blessing is a shared unique.
That means it took us 28 caskets to get 5 easy uniques along with 6 shared uniques. I'm not sure what the average is, but with our low levels at the beginning of this task, it definitely took a lot longer than I expected. I did cut a lot of the footage out because it's hard to make running across the map 100 times interesting, but it's finally done, so we do finally get to hit complete task. Alright, let's waste no time and get the next roll going. Alright, let's see what we get. Oh man, I thought we were about to get another clues unique step. Last 2 before it stopped were medium and easy uniques. But we did land on getting our first graceful piece. It's not exactly thrilling content for the video any more than the clues were, but it's going to be amazing to have both higher agility and some weight reduction gear for the rest of the tasks we do on the account. So let's waste no more time and cue the rooftop montage. And that's level 20 agility with 6 marks of grace so far. That means we can move on to the Alcarid course. Level 30 agility with only 3 falls on this course. Let's move on to the Varrock course. That was 36 laps of the Draenor Village course to get from 2 to 20 agility, 41 laps of the Alcarid course with 3 falls in order to get from 20 to 30 agility, and 78 laps of the Varrock course with 9 falls to go from 30 to 39 agility. We have our 30 marks of grace. Let's go talk to Grace in the Rogue's Den and get our first graceful piece. Hello, Grace. I'll take 1 pair of your finest gloves, please, and thanks. And collection log slot complete. That's our first weight reduction piece of clothing on the account. We put it on here real quick. We can see we're now at -3 kilograms if we've got nothing else on us. Let's get this task mark complete, which should bring us to, yep, 2% easy completion on the account. And no milking it, let's just go straight for another roll. 1 unique from creature creation. If I remember correctly, that requires a quest because I think it's in the basement of the Tower of Life south of Ardoyan. I'm pretty sure that's a quest called Tower of Life, actually. So, well, let's see what the requirements are for that and get over there and get that done. 10 construction. We've already got that, so we should be good to go. So essentially what we do in this quest is we get tricked into helping the alchemists create a homunculus, which is a hybrid creature, by assembling the summoning equipment and the cage to keep it in. Now their intent is to torture it for some reason that I don't really understand. Maybe I read over something, maybe it never said. I don't really get it. But in any case, in the end, the cage fails to hold it, and then the alchemists flee the tower. Then we talk to the homunculus and teach it about the world, talking about logic or magic in order to get it fully to one side. It's all weird mini-game logic stuff. As far as I know, it doesn't matter which way you go with it. Essentially, in the end, what you do is you hatch a plan to keep the alchemists away. You pretty much convince them that the homunculus will attack them if they enter the tower again. You go outside and talk to them. The homunculus briefly appears to convince them that the threat is real. They agree to stay away, and we can now, I guess, access the basement of the tower where the creature creation minigame is. That's what we need to complete our task. But first, we talk to the homunculus in the basement to complete the quest, which gives us level 26 construction. Now, the way this minigame works is you're creating a hybrid monster, but it's a very specific one. So I pretty much just run around the room to look for the easiest one to create. And what I find is the altar for the newt roost, which requires 1 eye of newt and 1 chicken feather in order to summon. I have both of those in the bank from previous task stuff, fishing and herb lore that we've had to do in the past. So I go and grab some of those, and we summon the Newt Roost, which is a level 19 melee creature. It's not very difficult, obviously. Primary drop from most of these hybrid creatures is one of the 2 items that you needed to create it, just in bulk. But obviously, nothing's particularly useful from this one. It drops Eyes of Newt, which you can buy in packs, so not really useful. But more importantly, it takes us 2 kills in order to get the unique. The first kill, we get Eyes of Newt. The second one, we get both level 27 attack and a Rune Satchel drop. The Rune Satchel is the item actually in the image of get the 1 creature creation unique, so a little extra bonus there, but task complete. Let's go ahead and get this marked as complete in the Collection Logmaster plugin, which brings us to 3% easy completion. Let's waste no time and get our next task. Oh man, here we go again. And that'll do it for episode 2 of Task Locked and Lost. The episode length may be shorter, but the amount of time it took was actually a bit longer than episode 1, and we did definitely accomplish more tasks. A little bit of everything in this one, even bossing, technically, only because Tempros is really a minigame but is considered a boss. But hey, I'm gonna count it. I'm definitely seeing there's going to be some difficulty making the videos interesting for certain tasks. I can only show me running around in circles on a rooftop course so many times before it becomes boring, or, pickpocketing ham members for so many hours before it's not interesting to watch. I have tried to introduce fun little side things like fall counters. Hopefully they add just a little bit to the video to keep it entertaining. But with that, let's get on to our skills summary. We started out episode 2 with a total level of 236, and we ended with a total level of 482, with our main gains obviously in combat as usual, along with things like crafting, mining, and smithing in order to make things for various clue steps. We also got from 1% to 3% easy completion in the Collection Log Master plugin. In the next, I am hoping to hit 5% on easy, maybe a little bit more, it depends on what kind of tasks we get and how long they take us. I will also almost certainly surpass 500 total level in the next episode, so look forward to that. And if you're still here, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you real soon in the next episode of Task Locked and Lost.